Awesome, man. Thank you so much for having this. This is...
I didn't set it all up, but I was pretty excited that it was set up, honestly, because, like I say, people have been asking me about what I think about bloggers and everything in all the interviews.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have to realize the record took me like 3.5 years, so in that time, I didn't deal with bloggers the way I am dealing with bloggers today. Back then, with the last record I did with James was 2003. Blogging was, you know, here and there. A couple of people did it, like, you know, famous people did it. But it didn't reach the importance it did.
Yeah, in the last couple of years.
In the last few years, it's just incredible.
Okay, well, for the album, why did you decide to enlist such a large, eclectic group of musicians?
Well, I didn't actually enlist them. As I say, they came to me. Yeah. They were interested in having me perform for them on their records. And each time, you can use this as a great excuse if you want to get people to work for you on this scale. I just said, my head is in this great project that I'm doing, Satellite Party. So let's do something unique. Let's split the publishing. And you go away, I'll sing, you know, give me your tracks. I'll write lyrics and I'll sing for you. But you just have to leave your tracks with me. And we'll see what happens. And the reason I was confident something good was going to happen is because we all come from slightly different worlds. So hybrid, going away with my voice, will put, it ends up to be kind of more of a remix for what I do. And then what I did with their tracks is I turned it into more of a radio sound. So we get
like radio friendly.
Well, it's just, you know, it's going to get played on radios on you know, rock radio stations where their music wouldn't have ever gotten on a rock radio station. So it worked out really well for us all, because now Wish Upon a Dog Star is in clubs and it's charting on the club tracks, on the club you know, Billboard charts, and then I've got my thing going on the rock and pop charts. It's cool.
That's awesome. Do you have any like funny stories of, you know, recording with these guys in the studio? Funny
stories. Well, I mean, Jim Morrison's track was a bitch, man.
Yeah, how did that?
Well, you know what would happen is a lot of times the power would go out on us. I swear, Etsy's my wife, she could tell you right now. The house would go down. Only our house would go black.
And it happened a few times in the
It happened a few times in the studio, and that's why I had like 100 copies all over the place, because I was afraid that it would just get disintegrated. And I kept thinking to myself, is this a spirit sign that I shouldn't work on the track, or that if you want to work on my track, you got to bust your ass?
Yeah. So
I took it as you got to bust your ass.
He was a bit of an anarchist, so it kind of
totally
makes sense. Can you tell me about the Costa Rican rainforest project that you're working on?
Well, I did in 1993 or 1994. What I did was I found out about a deal the Costa Rican government had, where if you were to purchase rainforest, they would match you. And you could buy, let's say, $500,000 worth of rainforest, and all included, it would be $1 million worth of rainforest, because they would match and preserve it. So we did. We bought, I think, probably $500,000 and ended up with $1 million worth of rainforest that we preserve for posterity. So it's a great idea to revisit again.
It's still untouched.
Yeah, unless we want to sell it to McDonald's, who I'm sure would be interested, but that's not going to happen.
Cool. With all the global changes going on in the last few years, have they affected which causes you're involved with now and the music you write?
Yeah, I like to look at myself as an artist that he mixes mediums. And I got this idea from my mom, who, when I was a little kid, we would go through the trash on Monday morning in our neighborhood, and we would grab really cool furniture or clocks or things like that you could, even paintings. People throw out great stuff. They just need a little bit of reworking, retouching. So I kind of got it in my mind that you can grab things around your neighborhood or your experience and make art with it. And they go together because if it's something you're interested in, if you're interested in something like the environment, and you're interested in something like music, somehow, you have to think about it a little bit, how to do it. But how I seem to have done it is, I've written this story that it's very it's a revolutionary story, and the music is powerful, but it touches upon these issues. In other words, I'm grabbing from my collective consciousness the things that are important to me in my life, and then just kind of mixing them in and weaving them into the fabric of the story.
Yeah.
Got time for one more, so sorry to cut it short.
It's got to be the question.
Sorry. The home run.
Do you find any difference in the number and kinds of people ready to listen to what you're saying since global warming has made such a big impact?
Yeah, I think that I don't think there's, if somebody doesn't know about global warming at this point, I would say they're kind of crazy. So it's easier for me to discuss about global warming with anybody. However, I'm not simply going out there and saying there is global warming.
Right.
I'm on to the next thing already. Is what are we going to do about it? And even past that, I've got a solution.
And that is?
The solution is we're going to reduce carbon emissions by, we're going to reach 1 billion people using blog, using festival, using event, using connection, allies, word of mouth, and we're going to get together, reduce carbon emissions by any means necessary. Like, if we have to throw a boycott, we'll throw a boycott. If we have to bring in new power stations into cities, working with city officials like we do in Chicago, where we donate $1 million to the city of Chicago from Lollapalooza, and we plant rooftop gardens and beautify their parks. And why not bring in a power station? Why not bring in photovoltaic cells? Why not bring in windmills and hydrogen fuel cells and attach them to the buildings, to the federal buildings, and to the museums, and to the colleges? And really get this thing going. You know what I mean? It's it's action, being proactive. Yeah, we need it now. So let's be proactive. Let's go out there and do it.